Okay, so Google just dropped something big. We're talking about the next era of AI, and it's called Gemini 3. And look, this is not just another update. It's a massive leap in what AI can understand and, maybe even more importantly, what it can do. So let's dive in and break it all down.
This quote from Sundar Pichai at Google, it really nails the whole idea, doesn't it? He says, AI has gone from reading text and images to reading the room. We've gone way beyond just processing data. Now it's all about getting the nuance, the context, the intent behind things.
So what does that even mean for an AI to read the room? Well, it means AI is shifting from being just a tool, something you use, to being more like a collaborator, a partner that can actually grasp the subtle hints in a creative idea, or help you peel back the layers of a really tough problem. So how on earth did we get here?
All right, first thing you've got to know about Gemini 3. It's not just one single thing. Nope. It's actually a whole new family of models, and each one is designed for something different. And all of this builds on some incredibly fast evolution.
Think about how fast this has happened. It all kicked off with Gemini 1, right? That's what gave AI its eyes and ears, the ability to understand different kinds of info. Then Gemini 2 came along and gave it a brain, for thinking and using tools. And now with Gemini 3, it's like it's getting hands, the power to actually act on that understanding and become your creative and technical partner. So let's meet this new family, shall we? First up, you've got Flash. As the name suggests, it's all about speed and efficiency, perfect for when you're doing tons of tasks at once. Then there's Pro. This is the new heavy hitter, the state-of-the-art model for handling really complex creative stuff. And finally, there's Deep Think. This one's a specialist, built to push the absolute limits of science and take on the toughest technical problems out there.
Okay, Google is throwing around some big words, calling this its most intelligent model yet. But what does that actually mean in the real world? We're not just talking about some small improvements here. We're talking about a serious jump in what this thing can do.
And here's the proof in the pudding. This chart, I know it looks like a lot. It shows dozens of different industry benchmarks, but the main takeaway is super clear. Gemini 3 Pro isn't just a little step up. In a lot of these cases, it's a huge, huge leap. Don't worry about trying to read every single line. Let's zoom in on 3 of the most important ones to really see what's going on.
Check this out. On something called Humanity's Last Exam, which is basically a super hard test of academic reasoning, the performance nearly doubled. Wow. For understanding stuff across images, video, and text, it jumped a whole 13 points. And for what they call agentic coding, which is its ability to think and act like a programmer all by itself, it's just a massive improvement. Look, these are not just abstract numbers. This means it's getting way better at real-world tasks. But honestly, the real story here isn't just about passing tests. This huge leap in intelligence means you get smarter, more direct answers. The AI is finally starting to trade in those generic, cliché responses for some genuine insight. So what does that actually look like for you? Well, Gemini 3 can take your grandma's old handwritten recipes, even if they're in different languages, and boom, turn them into a digital cookbook. Or it can watch a video of you playing pickleball and spit out a personalized training plan. It can even take a super dense scientific paper and turn it into an interactive study guide. This is what we mean by intelligence that's actually applied. Okay, so all this extra brain power unlocks one of the most exciting new areas in AI, agents. We're moving away from AI being just a passive assistant that answers your questions to an active collaborator that actually gets stuff done for you.
Here's a good way to think about it. Imagine instead of giving your project manager a super detailed, step-by-step to-do list, you just give them the final goal and say, here are the tools you need, go for it. The AI agent is that project manager. It figures out the how all by itself.
So, how does this whole agent thing work under the hood? Well, it all starts with it understanding your big picture goal. From there, it actually makes its own plan, breaking that big task down into smaller steps. Then, it goes and grabs the tools it needs, maybe a web browser, a code interpreter, whatever, and it just gets to work, executing that plan and adapting as it goes, until the job is done. Pretty amazing, right? And don't worry, this isn't some out-of-control black box. Developers are getting a ton of new ways to control the process. One of the coolest is something called thought signatures. It basically makes sure the agent can remember its own train of thought from one step to the next, which is super important to stop it from getting lost or confused when it's working on a really long, complex job. So where is all this heading? All these breakthroughs in reasoning, understanding different media, and this new agentic ability? They're all coming together to create a totally revolutionary new way for us to build software. People are starting to call it vibe coding, And the idea is actually pretty simple, but it's also profound. You just describe the vibe, the high-level idea of what you want to create, and the AI handles all the complicated code and planning to actually bring it to life.
And this isn't science fiction anymore. We're at a point where you can literally take a sketch on a napkin or just a voice memo, describe your idea, and have Gemini 3 generate a fully working, interactive app from that one single prompt. I mean, the wall between having an idea and actually creating it is just crumbling.
And this is already paying off in the real world. Big players in the industry are seeing incredible performance gains. For example, GitHub found a 35% jump in accuracy when it comes to solving real software engineering problems. What that means is developers can get through challenges faster and a whole lot more effectively.
Of course, new ways of working need new tools. A great example is Google Antigravity. It's a new kind of platform that completely rethinks what a development environment can be. It's a place where the human developer acts more like an architect, right? You're directing a team of intelligent agents who are doing all the hands-on building.
Okay, so we've covered the new models, the crazy leap in intelligence, and the rise of these AI agents. But let's bring it all home. What does this actually mean for you, whether you're just a casual user, a developer, a business, or even a researcher?
Well, for regular users, it means the apps you use every single day are about to get a whole lot smarter. For developers, you've now got this powerful new foundation to build the next wave of AI apps. For businesses, this is huge. You can now automate complex workflows that used to take entire teams of people. And for researchers, you've basically got a new partner in the lab to help you tackle some of the world's most complex scientific puzzles.
When you boil it all down, the goal of Gemini 3 is to make the distance between your imagination and actually creating something as short as possible. The tools are getting more powerful at an incredible rate. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build with them?